Welcome to Pop C with Sandra Zee. I'm your host, Sandra Zee. Today we're going to talk about the technology known as the telephone and the various ways in which people are now sending sex texts. What's a sex text? And I'm sure you've heard that before. Sex texting is the method by which people communicate via text messaging through the transmission of pictures, video, audio to other people's phones. This has gotten people into a lot of trouble, as we will see. What is it? Who does it? Why do we care? What's the purpose of sexting? And why has this become such a huge pop culture phenomenon? And you want to know. Sandra Zee is here to tell you. So sexting is the idea of sending a flirty or seductive or sensual message to someone via their cell phone. And sometimes that sex text message gets sent to someone that we didn't intend on sending it to. We see this with a lot of celebrities, right? So we've seen it with Faris. She was saying that on weekly Wednesdays, her and her fiancé would send each other sex texts. And this was to kind of keep in touch and, be on the same page. So there's been some really notable celebrities who have sent sex text messages. So most notably, Miley Cyrus. She sent a nude picture of herself to her then reported boyfriend. And what happened after that, we all know. It got sent off to the mass public. She's not the only one. There's been many other celebrities who have done the same thing. And so what happens? Aren't we supposed to learn from their mistakes and not do it ourselves? Many of us are still sex texting. Most recently, we see celebrities such as Tiger Woods who sent a sex text message, of course, to his reported mistress. And some of the things he wrote in that sex text message are, "I will wear you out. When was the last time you got bleeped?" So these kind of messages, which were intended to a specific user or end target, actually got sent off to the mass public. And we see this as a major problem. And as I mentioned previously, such as Faris from Scary Movie, she used to send text messages to her fiancé, and it ended up in the hands of a small child. Can you believe that? We see sexting come into mainstream television as well. For example, series like 90210, where Naomi gets a hold of a very provocative picture of Annie, played by Shanae Grimes. And this gets messaged all around school. And that, she actually says, is a sex text. So here we go, the term sex text being used in modern, everyday commercial culture, right? See the idea of sex texting also come into play in the whole Chris Brown and Rihanna situation. So what started the whole fight reportedly, both by obviously TMZ and Paris Hilton and all those gossip mags, is that Chris Brown at the time received a sex text from his manager, Tina Davis, and that blew up the storm. So essentially what we're seeing is sex texting and how that impacts both celebrities and non-celebrities. And why are we still doing it? This is not a new phenomenon. I mean, we've been texting for years and decades. And in fact, we've been having phone sex conversations on the phone for decades. But what is it about sex texting that gets us going? What is it about it that gets us interested in it? Is it the mere quickness of the keypad when we're typing? Is it the chance of being caught? Is it the reaction of the person that receives our sex text? So what is it really that gets us going about it? Some common sex texts, and this was found easily on any Google searches. "I can't wait to see what you're wearing when I come over. I'm ready for you. I'm willing." So what gets me going, Sandra Zee, about sexting? Part of it, what gets me going, is the notion of this popular culture discourse. And popular culture would say that sexting is an extension of social networking. Huh? What do you mean, Sandra? An extension of social networking? You're right. It's part of the everyday interaction of what we do. So in saying that, people want sex now. Right now, this moment, immediately, in real time. That's the nature of sexting. It allows us to have this idea of fantasy coming to reality. And what we need to know really is that sex is everywhere. We're inundated with these sexual images of hypersexual women and men. And that with this inundation of sexual images comes this environment that if you're not sexually compatible, if you're not up to the appetite of the community at large, you don't belong. Let's be honest. Now, as much as we can make fun of sexting and celebrities using it and us using it at the same time, there are some serious consequences. A mother tells us her story about how her daughter received constant threats and ridicule for sending a sex text message to her then boyfriend. And what ended up happening, tragically, is her daughter committed suicide. Now, this is no joke. And this is where sex texting could have these obvious consequences. So next time you send that elusive sex text message, make sure that you watch out where it's going. You don't want it going out to just anyone. This was Talk C with Sandra Zee. Thanks so much. See you next time.